You have two choices in life. Number one, you can track the price of tomatoes and Topo Chico for the next 60 years, and maybe, just maybe, you will accumulate enough to take a vacation someday. Or option two, you can get these three numbers and 3 decades right, and you will never have to worry about the price of russet potatoes ever again. Do you want to know what these strategies are? I'm going to show you in this video. So let's talk about how to catapult your net worth in your 20s, 30s, and 40s, because each decade may require a totally different strategy. Your 20s. The goal here is to build good habits, automate, and get compound interest working for you. I know a lot of you think you want a dog. No, you don't. You want compound interest. That's your new best friend. Your 20s are not about being perfect. They are about getting started. This decade is about exploring, trying to discover what you like, what you don't like. What do I want to do with my life? What am I interested in? How much tequila can I drink on Taco Tuesday and still show up to work within business hours? You don't have to know all the answers, but you do need to find something that you enjoy and you are good at. And that provides the right level of compensation for you. Again, you don't want to just be aimlessly wandering around. Hey, you're going to make mistakes in your 20s. Who cares? I made mistakes too. But the biggest mistake is doing nothing and waiting until your 30s, especially when it comes to investing. Our natural inclination is to say, I'm going to wait until I have real money to start investing. But counterintuitively, that's actually the worst approach to take. You start off small in your 20s with something like $50 a month. You're going to build the habit that it is normal to invest, which is incredibly important because it's really hard to build that habit later. And that $50 a month actually starts compounding, turns into a lot of money later. So when you do start to invest more later in your 20s and 30s, you are already building on a foundation of great habits and a pretty good amount of cash. For example, let's say you contribute $200 a month to your investments starting at age 25 and you stop at age 35. You don't invest anymore. You just let that money sit invested. You will actually have more than someone who starts investing at 35, same amount, and invests for the next 30 years. That's right, somebody who invests for just 10 years early in life can have more than someone who invests for 30 years if they wait just a decade. That is the power of starting early. That's the beauty of compound interest. And that's why I'm sitting here screaming at a camera right now. So you finally listen, stop eating horrible food from Arby's, and actually say, you know what, I'm gonna automatically invest every single month. Now, here are the key money moves you should be making in this decade. Automate everything. On a daily basis, we face way too many choices. Should I save more? What should I cut in my budget? Is asparagus good? I don't care about any of that shit. With so many decisions, so many choices to make, the danger is you do nothing with your finances and instead spend all your time watching Love Island. Here's what you do instead. Automate your finances. This eliminates analysis paralysis. It puts your money on autopilot. How do you do it? Set up automatic contributions for your 401k and or your Roth IRA. Automatically direct part of each paycheck into your savings account. Put bill payments on autopay so you're never accidentally late on payments. Doing this takes a few seconds now. It is extremely valuable in the future. If you want to know how to automate everything down to what day to automate it, get chapter 5 of my book, I Will Teach You to Be Rich. Next, invest even tiny amounts. Please remember that starting small is better than waiting until you think you have enough. The sooner you start, the more money is going to compound and snowball over time. Now, if you don't know what to invest in, one of the things I recommend for my family is something called a target date fund. It's low cost, it's diversified, it automatically gets more conservative as you get older. You set it once, move on with your life. How do you find a target date fund? You go to any low cost brokerage, Vanguard, Fidelity, Schwab. You pick the target date fund with the year that you plan to retire, usually around the age of 65. So if you're 25 now, you would pick the Vanguard 2065 fund or 2070 fund. That's it. No guessing, no day trading, no headaches. Next, ignore the noise. If you find yourself on a subreddit called Wall Street Bets, you have taken a very wrong turn in life. There's a lot of noise out there, a lot of people telling you to day trade and buy whole life insurance and all kinds of crackpot nonsense. The best thing you can do is focus on what you like, what you're good at, and automatically invest in low-cost long-term investments. It's very tempting to be endlessly chasing the next fad, but a lot of people end up chasing the next big thing for 25 years and have nothing to show for it. Next, build skills. Y'all need to actually get some skills. Sitting around reading Reddit, posting about reality TV, oh, I'm swiping on TikTok, I'm so productive. We all know it's bullshit. Yeah, that's fun, I don't mind it. But what are your skills that you are bringing to a job to increase your earnings, to make more money, to take awesome vacations and invest and have a great life? You want to learn how to do it? Let me show you some skills to learn. Learn how to negotiate. You don't have to just accept the salary that a company offers you. Make it a conversation by coming to the interview table prepared and knowing your value. Learn how to manage your money. This doesn't mean agonizing over the price of Starbucks coffee. Too many people tell me, oh, I manage the money day to day. I go, what does that mean? They go, I make sure the bills are paid on time. That's not managing money. That's playing small, wasting your time doing something a computer could do more efficiently than you. Managing your money means learning the skill of spending money on the things you love and learning how to invest. Then learn how to grow your income. Your income is a skill, and people who want to make more money treat that as a skill. If your day job is your only source of income in your 20s, fine, that's how it is for a lot of people. But there are also ways to make more money, such as taking the skills you already have and starting a side business. And by the end of your 20s, here's a checklist of the things you might want to aim for. You've automated your finances, including your bills, savings, and investments. You've started contributing to your retirement accounts, such as a 401k and a Roth IRA. You focus on income skills, not hustle culture. Ban that word. You've started using my conscious spending plan, and you know your 4 key numbers: fixed costs, investments, savings, and guilt-free spending. Now, the amount you spend on each category will depend on your fixed expenses and your salary, but ideally, fixed costs should make up 50 to 60% of your take-home pay. Stay out of high-interest debt like credit cards, and aim for a high credit score. If you want to know all the checklist items that I would recommend for you in your 20s, I've put together a free download for you. I will link it below. Now, let's get to your 30s. Your 20s are for trying things, for figuring out what you like, what you're good at. A lot of people bounce around. That's totally normal. But by your 30s, ideally, you can commit, because bouncing around becomes expensive. Your 30s is a decade to double down on what's working. Now, I hope you found that in your 20s. If you haven't, that's okay, but I would make it a priority to find out the thing you love and can compensate you the way you want to be compensated, and to do it fast. Now, please note, I'm not saying life always moves in a straight line. Sometimes we have a sick parent. Sometimes we lose a job. Sometimes our priorities have to change overnight. So this video is not meant to make you feel behind. It's to show you one very simple model of what could work. Adapt this advice for your own needs, and don't ever let a video make you feel bad about yourself. So here you are in your 30s, but you don't feel like you've landed on the job or the passion. Here's one technique you can use. You can say, I'm gonna take this job and I'm gonna commit to not leaving for at least 2 years. I'm gonna become really good at it. Well, you basically need 2 years to get good at anything. So when I see someone applying to a job at our company and I see them switching jobs every year, I am very skeptical. It's basically an instant no hire for me. Why? Because in the past they've jumped around, so I know they're gonna jump around again. If you are a job hopper, that means you are losing opportunities without even knowing why. What's worse is you're not even building enough expertise to really compound. Meanwhile, the people have committed to things since they were 22 or 23. By the time they are 32, they are deep into their careers. They're getting promoted multiple times. They're starting to earn serious money. They can see the lay of the land in a deeper way than someone who is just jumping around job to job. Now, this doesn't have to be everybody. Some people enjoy switching jobs a lot. You don't care what I have to say? Fine. But here's what I would suggest as your North Star. Say this: I am going to build deep expertise. Deep expertise cannot be dislodged. It doesn't matter what somebody finds on TikTok. Deep expertise is valuable, and that is something to aim for. Also important in your 30s, learning the skill of increasing your income. Now, this can be learning to land job interviews and salary negotiations and make them work for you. This is about arming yourself with data and tools like Indeed, PayScale, Glassdoor to research salary ranges for similar roles and to go in prepared to these conversations. Think about which jobs, even which industries you're going to work in strategically. Negotiate aggressively. Don't settle if you don't have to. Track and grow your net worth. You actually have to know what goes into it. Whether you use Rocket Money or my Conscious Spending Plan free download, you should keep track of your assets and your debt so you have a clear picture of your finances. Increase your investment rate. This is so important and almost nobody does it. It doesn't matter if you're investing through a 401k, an IRA, whatever. Make sure you take full advantage of compound interest by increasing your investment rate. As an example, I recommend every December you go into your investments and you increase them by 1% per year. So if you're putting in 5% towards your 401k, next year, make it 6% and so on. If you get a raise and you can bump your investment up even more, please do. Start saying no to things that don't align with your goals. Like when I was in college, I said yes to Jack in the Box crispy tacos because that's all we could afford. Now I say no. They do not align with my vision. So what are you going to say no to now? In your 30s, you actually start to earn a little bit of money. You actually can afford to make dumb decisions, but being able to selectively say no is what can put you ahead. Think about it. These are the kind of purchases where once you make them now, there's no going back. Like for example, when I started flying business class, I knew once I'm flying that, I'm not going back. So I was very careful about when I created a money rule for myself that I'm going to fly business class on flights over 4 hours. I knew I have enough that I'm never going to have to go back. Be thoughtful. For most people, they make classic mistakes when it comes to buying a house or a car. Once you buy a house, you are probably never going to go back to renting. You are probably never going to want to go to a smaller house. Same with cars. You're not going to want to go from a BMW to a secondhand Honda. But also, if you're driving a BMW, get off my channel. I don't want BMW drivers on this. You're horrible at driving and horrible at parking. Leave. So let me give you a checklist of some things you should aim for by the end of your 30s. Grow your income 25 to 50% this decade, maybe more. Net worth 1 to 2 times your annual income. That depends on a lot of shit. Don't get mad at me and don't write me about that guideline. In fact, I might just delete this from the whole video. Next, invest at least 10% of your income, maybe more if you're behind. Be strategic with your big purchases. Do you really need a $75,000 SUV just for the kids? Aim for a 3 to 6 month emergency fund. Dial in your conscious spending plan and get a high credit score. And by the way, real quick, if you're getting value out of this and you haven't hit that subscribe button, do it now. Hit subscribe so you can learn the actual steps to take in your 20s, 30s, 40s, and beyond, including what to do with your money and how to spend it meaningfully. Your 40s. Now the goal here, refine everything. Remove the dead weight. Pour fuel on what works. By your 40s, I'm hopeful that you've found a groove with your career, that your income is growing, and that your investments are actually really starting to take off. Your 40s are the perfect time to take a step back, see what's working, and analyze where you can improve. So here are some key money moves for your 40s. Audit your life. Take some time and zoom out. There comes a point where you can see exactly when somebody stopped listening to new music, me in the year 2000, and when they stopped adjusting the hem of their pants to stay up to date with fashion. A bunch of bros right now getting mad in my comments. Ramit, slim fit is actually coming back. It's actually more flat. No, it's not. Stop it. You're out of date. Now, why am I talking about this? Because in your 40s, it's easy to end up on autopilot, but it is such an amazing opportunity to zoom out and decide what you want to do with the next chapter of your life. So take a weekend seminar with your spouse, take a staycation, go on a solo camping trip, whatever you choose, take some time first mapping out how far you've come since your 20s and be really candid with yourself. Give yourself a pat on the back. Hey, what do I like about myself? What have I gotten really good at? My career, my relationships, my life. And then be honest and constructive with your criticism. What do I not like? What are the areas that I need to improve? What are the things I want to change about myself, my relationships, my income, my house, all of it? This is not about beating yourself up. It's actually about taking an honest self-assessment. And that's why I always start with the things that are positive. Like if I look at my own life from my 20s, I'm really proud of my fitness journey. That took so much work, so much internal work, going to the gym, working with trainers and nutritionists and learning how this stuff works. I'm proud of my business. I'm proud of building a business with an amazing team. I'm proud of meeting my wife and building an awesome relationship where we spend a lot of time together. There are things that I need to improve too. Like I have some people in the comments that I need to roast better. That is something that keeps me up at night. I haven't eviscerated you enough, but I'm coming for you because I'm 43 and I got a lot more time on this planet. So what is it for you? Maybe it's, hey, I haven't been good about maintaining my relationships. I'm going to commit to doing that in my 40s. So then get specific. How are you going to do it? Well, I'm going to text my friends. I'm going to set up an annual trip that we go on together. Sometimes I'm going to go to them. Sometimes they'll come to me. Sometimes we'll leave it up to chance, but I'm going to build a system to make sure it happens. I did exactly this. I texted some of my friends recently. I said, hey guys, I want to spend more quality time together. It's important to me. I don't want our friendships to drift apart. I actually want us to spend a lot of time together. So can we do something? It actually made me nervous to say this because it kind of felt vulnerable. You know, a lot of guys don't send messages like this. What's crazy is within 3 or so months, I found myself in Wyoming with a couple of my friends. We went to this awesome ranch. And then just a couple weeks later, I was in Tokyo with a buddy of mine from college. Your 40s are the perfect time to take stock of where you have come. Same thing for your career and income. You know what? I haven't been really savvy about negotiating a raise. I'm going to learn how to do that. I'm going to get a mentor. I'm going to get a career coach. I'm going to join Ramit's Dream Job program and learn exactly how to do it. Next, do an audit of your investments. Now, ideally, your investments have already had decades to grow and compound since you started small in your 20s. Now take the time to evaluate your asset allocation. This is also where automation becomes your best friend. If you read my book, starting in 2009, how many of you read that book? If so, leave a comment below. If you did, you set your investments up in something like a target date fund or index funds. If it's a target date fund, it automatically rebalanced your portfolio based on your age. And that's awesome. That's what happens over time. But if you didn't, you may want to look at your overall investment strategy. For most people in your 40s, you have a lot of life ahead of you. So you probably do not need to become super conservative in your 40s, that's for sure. But you want to be looking at all of your accounts. Do I have some orphan 401k from some job that I need to roll over? Do I have money coming over here that's not being automated? You want to be thinking about how is your money being invested and just do a full audit. Remember, your 40s and 50s are your peak earning years for most people. You still want to prioritize growth, but you want to start looking ahead. Hey, am I on track for retirement? If not, I still have time to make changes. Let me do it now while it's easier instead of waiting for life to make it harder. Next, audit your spending. One of the most powerful exercises I do with couples on my podcast is I ask them to describe their rich life. And oftentimes they'll say things like, we want to travel, we want to go to the grocery store and not have to look at the price, we want to be able to have a date night, that kind of thing. And then I say, okay, show me in your spending where you are doing that. And they go like this. Very few people align their spending with their rich life. If you want to do a date night once every 2 weeks, show me in your calendar and your conscious spending plan where you have resourced it. If you want to travel, show me how you are automatically putting aside $250 a month for that trip you're going to take in December. Show me. What I often find is that a lot of us are spending a lot of money on things that are not part of our rich life. Most commonly, those are eating out. A lot of times people are spending a huge amount on cars they don't even realize. And of course, you've heard me talk about housing and all the phantom costs involved. Your 40s are an amazing opportunity to do an audit of your spending. And when you do this, you will quickly discover you actually can spend more on the things you love as long as you are cutting back on the things you don't. So do that audit. And if you want to know how, I've put together a free download where you can go through the audit process and change your spending to spend more on the things you love. Next, set the stage for your rich life. Your 40s are a great time to step back and ask, what am I working for? I actually like to put my hand out like this and say, what do I get? I work hard, I save money, I invest. What do I get? And I want to be specific. For me, it might be, I love to stay at beautiful hotels. So when I go to a hotel, I pick one based on where I want to go, not based on price. Okay, what is it for you? I want to be able to eat out once a week and not have to look at the price. Okay, cool. I want to send my kids to an amazing tennis camp. I want you to take the time to plot out your 10-year bucket list and to make sure that your finances are aligned with that vision. For example, in your 10-year bucket list, you may want to learn a certain language, or you may want to go hiking in the Grand Canyon. I don't know, whatever it is for you. Write it down and then pick one of those things and put some money behind it so you know exactly when you're going to do it and you guarantee that it's going to happen. By the end of your 40s, here's a checklist of things you should aim for. I want you to evaluate your net worth, your spending plan, your asset mix. Kill money leaks for things that are not part of your rich life. For a lot of people, it's eating out, it's fees, it's subscriptions, it's cars and houses that are not particularly important to them, but they just slipped and bought them. Next, max out your tax advantage accounts or get as close as you can. Then get serious about your retirement timelines. In your 40s, you still have time to make dramatic changes and end up in an awesome place, but it gets harder every year you wait. Then, a very clear line of sight on your retirement plan. And finally, this is really important, enjoy your guilt-free spending. Now, here's the truth. Yeah, in your 40s, your net worth should grow. But what I really want is for your confidence with money to grow even faster. This is the part that a lot of people don't talk about. Yeah, your numbers should go up. And yes, you should become more competent at managing money. But I also want your feelings with money to improve. Your feeling of control, of knowing exactly where you're going, of pride. If you want to know, by the way, exactly how your net worth stacks up, watch this video next.